2021. It is 7 p.m. and we would like to start our meeting. This meeting, it's live streamed through the city of San Jose, city of Milpitas, the Facebook, YouTube, and web streaming. And public comments, oral public comments may be provided during live during the Community Advisory Commission meeting by first registering for the Zoom meeting in advance. There is a link that it was provided for anybody who is interested. All comments provided shall be limited to 3 minutes or less as determined by the chair. All members of the public will be limited to 1 comment per agenda item and 1 comment for non-agenda items. The online written comment form previously used is no longer available to public comment. I want to make a call to order. I want to make a call to order. Let's see, commissioners who are present. My apologies if I don't have all the names, so bear with me, please. Commissioner Van Land, can you state if you're present?
Present.
I see your hand. Thank you. Commissioner Vishal Gandhi.
Present.
Chair. Thank you.
Present.
Commissioner Telma Batillo.
Present.
Commissioner Jose Rosario.
Present.
Commissioner Ashish Katapurkar. I didn't receive any email or excuse. Commissioner Gilroy Casanova. And Commissioner Kavita Sridhar.
Here.
Thank you. Sorry for my pronunciation. And Oscar Leon present. Thank you. So we are currently, we have quorum, and we need to look at 1 second. The alternates, we have 1. Are we 7? Robert, I'm trying to track here. Do we have any alternate, or all of us are?
I'm an alternate, so I need to be seated if.
I believe we have enough. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on that too. So I think Commissioner Ridar is going to be seated in lieu of Commissioner Ashish.
That is correct.
Okay, so Commissioner Gavita, you are going to be
Chair, if I may.
today.
Chair, if I may. The seating of alternates is number 4 on the agenda.
Sorry, thank you.
So we must do the Pledge of Allegiance. And then I think we prematurely did the roll call here, but we can just do the Pledge of Allegiance and then jump to the seating of alternates.
Thank you, Okay, any other volunteer for this time to call for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Okay.
Thank you, Jose.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
States of
America
America.
and to
And
the republic for which it stands, one
one
nation under
nation
God,
under God,
indivisible, with
indivisible,
liberty and
liberty and
justice
justice
for
for
all.
all.
Thank you. Thank you. So you are right. I just did the roll call ahead of the Pledge of Allegiance. The roll call in this case, Commissioner Ashish is absent. And at this point, we will seat Commissioner Kavita as voting commissioner. We will move to number 5, approval of the agenda for March 3rd, 2021. Anyone to? Anyone wants to look at the agenda and move forward? We need somebody to.
Okay. I move that the agenda for March 3rd, 2021 be approved.
And this is Vishal. I second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Vishal. Let's vote. Commissioner Rosario, yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Van Nan,
Yes.
Commissioner Vishal,
Yes.
Commissioner Batillo, Thelma,
Yes,
Commissioner Kavita.
Yes.
My vote is also yes. Do I missing somebody? Do I missing any?
Chair Leon,
Yes.
if I may check on, there's one attendee, and I believe she may be the new commissioner that the council appointed last night.
Okay. I will be more than happy to if you can let her in. Do we know her name or his
Yeah,
name?
Eileen Zong.
Okay. Are you unmuted?
Hi, sorry, it took me off the screen all of a sudden. Just wanted to hop on to introduce myself. Not sure if this would be the right moment to do so, but I am Eileen. I was born and raised in Milpitas. I recently moved back home, so I'm really excited to be on this commission with you all to serve Milpitas, and looking forward to the conversations we'll be having in the future.
Thank you very much, Eileen. Welcome to our commission. Sharon, she was appointed as an alternate.
No, she was appointed into the regular vacant seat.
Okay, I would need clarification of the number of members. Is Commissioner Kavita still an alternate then?
Correct.
I haven't done any paperwork or anything yet, so I was just hopping on to just observe and listen in.
So you
Yeah,
are.
and staff hasn't received your contact information, so and of course this was posted last week, so.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I haven't noticed your name, and I thought your name looked familiar. That's why I saw that on the agenda.
So
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll just be here listening in.
thank you. So unofficially welcome, and thank you for being with us, and looking forward in the future. We will
But, sorry,
continue.
Chair Leon, but
Yes.
she is formally now a commissioner because the council appointed her last night.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can make sure to Actually, I think we have that already in the Zoom. Put her as commissioners on.
Okay, so clarification is the number of voting members. In this case, we can change what we have just done, include Kavita as into the position
Seating of
commissioner.
alternates?
Yeah,
Actually, I think we have a total of 7, right? Including Commissioner Srihar.
That is correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So all 7 attendees tonight, yeah, all of the commissioners attending, you're all being voted in as regular members with voting.
okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Then we need to vote for the approval of the agenda. We need Commissioner Sridhar, please, if you can.
Yes.
Okay, I think Commissioner Batila, I already asked you.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Should include Commissioner Eileen.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you talking about the minutes?
I'm talking about the approval of the minute of the agenda.
Yeah. But
Okay.
since she was not present, I'll leave it up to her how she would like to
No,
vote.
but for the agenda, she can vote for the agenda, not for the minutes probably, but for the agenda. It's up to
Correct.
her.
Yes,
Commissioner,
I mean, if it makes more sense, maybe the alternate can just fill in for this round, just so it's a little smoother, right? If that makes more sense, I'm happy to sit this out.
you are more than welcome to be part. So this is kind of new because it was last minute, but we are more than happy to have you around here. So
Okay.
okay. Okay, so and I vote yes, so the agenda has been approved. Now we need to look to approval of the meeting minutes from February 3rd of 2021. Any motion for the approval of the minutes?
I would make a motion, Chair. I would like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes on February 3rd, 2021.
Thank you.
Seconded.
This is Vishal, I second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Gandhi. Now we have to proceed to vote. Commissioner Gandhi, Commissioner
Yes.
Batilo,
Yes.
Commissioner Sridhar,
I abstain. I wasn't there at the last meeting.
okay. Commissioner Eileen,
I guess I'll abstain as well since I
Thank you.
wasn't there.
She wasn't there.
thank you. Do I'm missing somebody? I believe not. My vote is also yes. So at this point, the meeting minutes from February 3rd, 2021 has been approved. Thank you. Let's move to item number 7, public forum. Interested public members may provide comments to the commission on any subject not on the agenda via Zoom. Instructions were provided above. Commenters may state their name and address for the record and shall limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less as determined by the chair. As an agenda item, no response is required of the commission or city staff. However, the commission may request staff to agendize the item for a future meeting. Do we have any public comment? Public forum?
There are no public comments.
Thank you. Announcements? Do we have any announcements?
There are no announcements at this time.
Thank you. We're going to item number 9 from our agenda. 9A, CDBG review and process. The City of Milpitas Housing staff will provide commissioners a brief presentation on the CDBG overview and process. Recommendation, receive a presentation on the CDBG overview and process. Thank you. Please.
All right, good evening. Let me just share my screen. And if possible, Chair, if you could just give me the thumbs up that you could see it full screen. Great, thank you. Okay, so good evening, commissioners. For a quick introduction, my name is Robert Muslam. I'm the Housing Authority Administrator for the city. This presentation is going to provide you some guidance to the CDBG process for the upcoming fiscal year. So just a quick overview, and let me just do this. There you go. Just a quick overview of CDBG to refresh your memories. The Community Development Block Grant is administered by the Department of Housing and Urban Development. As noted previously, our fiscal year spans from July 1st through June 30th, 2022. So the applications for this fiscal year will be reviewed for that application period. And the window to submit an application for the subgrantees to submit their applications for consideration for funding is February 8th through March 21st. Okay. Quick background on the guidelines. Community-based organizations must serve, in order to be eligible, the community-based organization must serve low and or moderate income Milpitas residents and meet the following criteria. They must have a 501c3 designation from the IRS at the time of application, must be incorporated with the Secretary of State, and they must possess a DUNS number at the time of application. And as an example, I believe this was asked at the last meeting, so just kind of a follow-up. The city is actually an eligible entity, and the city's 501c3 is also an eligible entity to apply for funding. And so with that, the entity, whether a nonprofit or the city, they must meet one of the 3 following national objectives, which I will show on the next slide. Okay, so these activities, the activities must carry out and meet one of these national objectives. I won't go into too much detail because I think we went over this a little bit more detail last month, but just really quickly, a vast majority of the national objectives selected will be for low and moderate. And the main reason is the requests for funding over the last 3 years that I've been managing the CDBG program have not met the criteria to satisfy a blight or urgent need national objective. Those are very, very, very niche and very specific. But within low and moderate, the large majority of our activities, the applicants for funding, will be to benefit limited clientele. These are activities that benefit such groups as seniors, the homeless, victims of domestic violence, or individuals who can demonstrate that they are income qualified as low or moderate income per HUD's definition. We have started to see a few applications on area benefit, but as our ability to take in new applications and to kind of expand how we want to use the funding grows, then we will probably see more funding under different sections of the national objective. But just some context, our funding has primarily benefited low and moderate income clientele. Okay, so within each activity, it's not only that they must meet a national objective, but the funds must be used to benefit at least 70% low and moderate income residents. So within any given activity, 70% of the funds must be used to benefit low and moderate income residents. The costs must be what they consider necessary and reasonable. And if they are being used for COVID-19 related activity, the funds must be used to prevent, prepare for, and respond to COVID-19. So this is a kind of dense slide, so I won't read all of these, but these are examples of eligible activities. I just want to give you an idea of what CDBG can be used for. So we took, just want to take a moment here to briefly discuss some of the items that the commission had asked us to research, such as neighborhood cleanup events and other cleanup activities. So within that framework, cleanup activities would be an allowable expense with CDBG funds as long as, and this is the big caveat here, as long as the city is not already funding these activities with the general fund. So they still must meet those 3 criteria I mentioned before: national objective, 70% of the funds must benefit low and moderate income residents, be necessary and reasonable, but they also can't be used to supplant general fund. So if the city's already funding it, then even though it would meet these, any one of these criteria, it can't be funded with CDBG funds. If it is determined that we supplanted general funds with CDBG funds, the city would be required to pay those funds back to HUD. So it's walking a fine line, and staff is just very careful to ensure that we, double and triple check with our HUD rep to make sure that any of the proposed activities, not only meet the national objective, but isn't something that the city is already funding in some capacity. And so I'll move on here to ineligible activities. And a lot of it is pretty much what I just mentioned: buildings used for government expenses, anything that the general fund would cover is generally an ineligible activity. And there's some other items in here that are ineligible as well. Income payments, so for CDBG funds, for instance, they don't allow sort of like a recurring payment to an individual. But generally speaking, as long as it can meet one of the three criteria that I had listed before, mainly the national objective and the benefit of low and moderate income residents, and as long as it doesn't supplant general funds, then there should be a pathway for eligibility. Okay. Now on to the applicant, or as we call them, the subgrantees. So the city, is the grantee, and then the folks applying are the subgrantees, their responsibilities. Pretty self-explanatory. They must be able to front the costs of the service, as HUD is a reimbursement program. They must be able to provide the required insurance documentation, have systems in place to collect demographic information, submit reports to the city, and attend city council meetings as necessary. Okay, so moving on here to the CAC CDBG process. So as mentioned last month, we will have you participate in the community needs survey. If you have not done so, that's okay. The survey is open until March 21st. We will be sending out a copy of this presentation to you, which will obviously contain the link to the presentation. So you can go ahead and submit your survey before March 21st. And we would also appreciate help with promotion and outreach of the survey. Help us spread the word about the survey to the community. We want to encourage as many Milpitas residents the opportunity to provide their input. And similarly, if there's a nonprofit that you would like to have considered for funding, we would like you to put us in touch. We want to ensure that any nonprofit or any organization that wants to be considered for funding is granted the opportunity. So we're happy to connect and provide them materials and the simplified application so that they can submit it within the application period. Right, so on April 7th, the next CAC meeting, the CAC will provide input on the community needs. And so at that event, we will present you with the simplified application submissions. We will give the prospective applicants, if they're all invited, we would give them the opportunity to provide public comment, and they can discuss why their activity should be considered for funding. Staff will be presenting the results of the community needs survey, both from the public and from you all as well. And then we wanted to give each commissioner an opportunity to provide their recommendation as to what priorities and areas they believe the city council should focus on for CDBG funding. So we will ensure that each of you will have an opportunity to provide your own, rationale for these funding priorities. We anticipate the meeting being a little bit longer than a standard CAC meeting, approximately 90 minutes. So we'll work with you on timing and everything like that as we get closer to the event. But the final point is that we will have a recommendation summary of your discussion items and your priorities. And the staff will come back to you at a special meeting in April with a summary of the CAC recommendations that we are prepared to present to the City Council. Okay. And then this is just a visualization of the timeline of events for the year. So we are through February and we're just getting into March. The application window closes March 21st. Next month we'll have our CAC meeting. And then, as I mentioned, we will return to the CAC in mid to late April with a summary of the recommendations. This date is still to be determined, but as soon as we schedule it, we will of course let you know. Another slight change this year is that staff will be presenting the CDBG to the City Council twice this year. The first time we'll go to Council will be in May for a discussion on the simplified application request for funding to provide the CAC recommendations and to provide, and for the City Council to provide feedback and direction to staff. Staff will then return in June to the City Council to receive the final funding allocations. Once we get the final funding allocations, we will move quickly to execute contracts and distribute all necessary materials to the awarded applicants so they can start getting involved in their activities in the community effective July 1. So with that concludes my presentation. I will turn it back to the chair for questions. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Robert. I have a couple of things, and I think your presentation, the presentation was very clear. And I think because of the City Council meeting in May for public hearing, and then in June after whatever modification could have been, it really it states clearly the role of the CAC as Community Advisory Commission. So we will have done our part on April 7th, and then it will and the second meeting in April, and then it will go to the City Council for the final decision to be made, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. Commissioners, I remember that at some point we mentioned it about some of the activities of the commission that we were looking at, the cleaning of the beautification day, as well as some other activities that we have in the past. If we want to include something, we need to be careful because probably only the support that we used to provide to mobile homes might qualify here, but no, not the one that we did at some point to public parks, to recreational areas, because to me that one will create a conflict with what is city's responsibility. And in Robert's presentation, it was one item about that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Robert.
You are correct.
Thank you. I just wanted to point that out to the commissioners in whenever we're looking at some activities that we were doing, and which one can be included as getting some CDBG support, not to consider the the cleaning day that we have done in some occasions to recreational facilities or parks, city parks. Any other comment from the commissioners?
Hi, this is Thelma.
Thank
It's the first time I've seen the criteria to having the DUNS number. And do we have that from previous applicants already?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comment from the commissioners?
Yeah, I just would like to thank Robert and the team for a wonderful presentation. I think the material get better and better every time. This is very clear and very good. It's excellent. So I look forward to receiving it. I did answer the community survey. And now what's going to happen, Robert?
Great question, Chair. Excuse me. Great question, Commissioner. Excuse me. Force of habit. So we will be compiling the results of the community needs survey, and we'll be presenting the results of those surveys to you at the next CAC meeting on April 7th.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And then, Chair, I just want to alert you that you do have a few hands raised.
Okay. I cannot see them from my end. Please.
I have a question.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
the priorities that were set out, Robert, if there's a way you can go back to that screen, is that possible?
Sure.
Were they set out by the CDBG itself, or because what I found, and I brought this up even the first time that we had this presentation, was that I don't see anything for individuals with disabilities included in this. So I was just wondering if that this is a priority set out by the CDBG, or is the city looking at, can we make a recommendation to consider that?
That's a great question, Commissioner. So these are activities and services designated by CDBG, but services for individuals with disabilities would absolutely qualify as a public service. It may not be delineated here as one of these, but I can assure you that it would qualify.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And then I'll lower your hand, and then Councilmember Chua has her hand raised, so I will cede the floor here.
Thank you, Robert, and thank you, Chair. Through the chair to Robert, I don't see any criteria for small businesses. Am I missing something?
Yes, economic development is an eligible activity. We focus this presentation mainly on public services and capital, as those are a large majority of the activities. But yes, small businesses, micro enterprises, those would be considered economic development activities, and that those are allowable, eligible activities, Council Member.
Okay, good. Good to know. Another question is, looking back when we did the cleanup at the mobile home parks, so one of the things that caught my eye when you said, because the staff was there, I mean, so we're paying his time and we use the truck and also some tools from the city. Does that mean that mobile home park is no longer eligible because we're paying the staff? Because I think your presentation says it cannot be used when the city is already funding the event.
Correct, and great question, Council Member. So the way that I understand the regulations, and I will double and triple check with my HUD rep, is that time is allowed as long as the activity itself is not something that the city normally funds. Excuse me. So let me give you an example. If we had, and forgive me, I'm trying to think of one right off the top of my head here, but if we had a person at the community, at the senior center that is working on a CDBG activity for an activity that they applied for, if they're working on that activity that they applied for, and it's an activity that is, say, a new program that isn't something that the city already funded at the senior center, then that staff time would be allowed under that activity. But they couldn't charge that activity for something, they couldn't apply for an activity that the senior center already provides and then charge staff time against that. Does that kind of clarify it for you? It has to be an activity that doesn't currently exist in the general fund expenditures. And if it doesn't and it meets all of the criteria, then we could allocate funds towards that, and staff time could, in theory, be used against that. And again, I have to double and triple check, but that is my understanding of the CDBG as it relates to that.
That's good to know, because based on that interpretation, that means the cleanup event is good.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
And there are a few caveats, I should say, as long as the cleanup isn't on, say, city-owned land or
Right.
anything that could be, related to this. So again, every activity is very unique, and we just want to make sure that we're in compliance. But yes, generally speaking, cleanup events are an allowable activity.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. Thank you, Council Member. Anybody else?
Robert, I have a question with this public service. I don't see any service that provide homeless or senior citizen food. Is this under the COVID-19 activity food distribution?
And that's a great question, Commissioner. So the application of say food as an activity would fall under services for senior citizens and services for homeless persons. It's sort of a generalized title, services for, but that's an allowable expense under those public service categories.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Or I cannot see under my screen who.
There are no hands raised currently, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Robert, for the presentation. This really clarifies what are the guidelines for CDBG, and looking forward to April meeting to look at the applicants and how we can better serve the community. Thank you very much. Let's move to the next item of an agenda. And I have under 9B, Community Engagement and Affordable Housing and Building Safety Month. The City of Milpitas recognizes Affordable Housing and Building Safety Month in the month of May. The city partners with various local nonprofits to host informational events for our residents. And I know Robert is trying to put a presentation. So the recommendations to receive a staff overview and commissioner discussion on community engagement in affordable housing and building safety month. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you again. And okay, so community engagement, affordable housing, and building safety month. As you are all aware, our city celebrates Affordable Housing and Building Safety Month. And at our work plan event, we discussed sort of adding a little bit more community engagement for the CAC as a part of that month. So for the work plan, we have titled it Community Engagement and Affordable Housing and Building Safety Month. So this will take place in the month of May. We will have a proclamation from at the City Council meeting, and we'll proclaim that May is Affordable Housing and Building Safety Month. But we wanted to discuss the community engagement portion with you all. So on May 5th, 2021 at the CAC meeting, we will have a building safety and housing presentation. This is a presentation that members of the building safety and housing team put together, discussing a wide variety of topics related to building safety, and housing in terms of affordable housing. So we'll talk about housing initiatives, things that the housing team has been working on over the last 6 to 12 months, and sort of compile that into a presentation for you and the community. In addition to that, we wanted to provide the opportunity for the community to be engaged with the CAC and building safety and housing staff. So we will have the opportunity for community members to attend the meeting and provide Q&A, and we can have discourse with either the city staff answering questions or commissioners as you, the chair, desires. So we are looking for more engagement this year. So we would encourage all of you to assist us with the outreach and to ensure that it is a well-attended event and one that the community could really benefit from. In addition to that, so that's our sort of first event, we have some ideas for a second event that we would like the CAC to assist us in providing some input or direction on. And so what we have been doing as a team in the housing division is partnering with certain nonprofit partners. These are folks that the nonprofit partners should look quite familiar. They're all CDBG recipients, but they also put on a lot of workshops in the community, and we've partnered with them on various workshops. So we were thinking that as a part of community engagement and affordable housing and building safety month, that the CAC could discuss and I'll go through these each in a little detail just to kind of give you some ideas as to what they would be presenting, but have a discussion and then determine through that discussion if it would like to partner with one of these nonprofits and see if we can schedule a second event for the month of May. So I'll just run through these real quick. Silicon Valley Independent Living Center, they currently administer our rent relief program. And they're actually on here twice, so I don't want to confuse you. But the first one would be a joint presentation with Project Sentinel and Silicon Valley Independent Living Center. We have our rent relief program, and we also have It Takes a Village, which is another rental assistance-like program. And we have some new federal legislation that has brought some federal rental assistance to the county level. So we thought we could have a joint presentation and they can talk about the respective rent assistance programs and then provide an update on any kind of local eviction moratorium and the federal rental assistance and where community members could access that information. So that would be one topic. Another topic that we've actually had some good success with in the past is Catholic Charities Shared Housing. Catholic Charities started a pilot program 2 years ago where they matched homeowners with people looking for room rentals. And despite the challenges that COVID-19 has provided all of us, they were still able to house 16 people during the pandemic. So they're still going strong and still looking for more participants for the program. So we thought that would be a good idea to share with you all. Rebuilding Together Silicon Valley, they do homeowner rehabilitation for seniors and elderly and disabled individuals. And so they are always a great partner in our community, helping maintain housing for our vulnerable populations. SVLC has a housing search program. That's one of their other core services is simply helping people find housing. It's a very difficult time. And in general, people have had a very difficult time finding housing. And I know that the folks over at SVILC are extremely sharp at assisting people with housing search. So thought that would be also a very good idea to have a presentation on. And then finally, for, again, our vulnerable residents here, we have senior adults legal assistance. The folks at SALA do a really great job in terms of elder protections, elder legal protections. So we would have them come on and discuss sort of their core services and how, our elderly residents could take advantage of a free legal service, to ensure that they are protected for a variety of legal reasons. She, as a part of CDBG historically, she would always, I say she, her name is Georgia, and Georgia is the executive director of SALA. She would use the senior center for her workshops. And unfortunately, since the closure of the senior center, she hasn't been able to schedule an in-person workshop, due to the pandemic. So we thought it would be a great opportunity to have potentially have a digital workshop for her for Milpitas residents. So with that, I'm happy to turn it back to the chair, and you can ask any follow-up questions about each of these events. I know I went through them a little quickly. If the CAC determines through this discussion that they would like to partner with one of these nonprofits, I would kindly ask for a motion and a vote so that we can receive that direction formally. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Robert. My comment is this is something greatly appreciated, the fact that one of the things that usually happen is some of these agencies on this potential second event, we have been working together, let's put it this way, through CDBG applications. Most of them were applicants in the past, but one of the dilemmas was always, how can we disseminate all the support and all the services that these agencies provide, and how we can make it available to our community. Is a challenge. I know that in the past, as you mentioned it, through the senior center, some of these agencies have worked together, but to me always was the question, how can we make this available to more citizens, Milpitas residents? This could be a very great potential event. And my question will be, do we have to partner just with one agency, or how that works? Because all of them they do provide services to our city, to our citizens, and wow, that this could be a great potential activity.
And thank you for the question, Chair. I don't think we necessarily have to partner with just one. I would say that from a staff standpoint, we were able to host 3 events last year. But we are searching for sort of guidance on what the CAC views as priorities for the community to learn and connect more about during Affordable Housing Building Safety Month. And so since we have that first event scheduled for May 5th at the CAC meeting, we're looking for guidance on the next event here.
Any comments, commissioners?
Yeah, may I just have one quick question? I really appreciate the community engagement part that we add into the current program that the city have. I know COVID-19 and the vaccine, hopefully the situation, the community activity will get better in May, by May, if we have a very successful vaccine program. So my question to you is there any other venue, any other way to do community engagement in addition to the Zoom meeting? Have you thought of that, so that we can reach a broader community, people that aren't familiar using Zoom or want to get in Zoom, but would like to know about all the program, the wonderful program that you just said?
And thank you for that question, Commissioner. I think at this time, staff's preparation has been with sort of the pandemic still in mind. I believe that the digital event, as even the larger community are only putting on digital events, I think at this time that is the focus for staff, is to maintain this as a digital event only. but we are doing outreach with all of our nonprofit partners. We stay in email communication with them and let them know, the things that Milpitas is doing. But anything beyond Zoom and if you were referring to sort of in person, it's not something that staff has considered at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comment, commissioners? And also, please keep in mind what Robert is asking to. At some point, we need to make a motion if we can proceed with this, and then to give some guidelines to the city to see how we can, if we indeed approve it, how we can move forward with that. But any other comment from commissioners?
This is Eileen. I just have a quick question in regards to the outreach portion. What is being done currently, or how can we assist with outreach? Like, are there already like Facebook posts, etc., that we can share?
Yeah, excuse me. Great question. So yes, we have sort of a multi-tiered prong approach to outreach. We have an outreach list of known interested housing parties that we send out emails to with information on all of these programs. We do take advantage of the city's social media channels, disseminate that information on social media, and of course, encourage all of you to share and disseminate amongst your networks as well through those channels if you so choose. And then in some instances, we try to do more collective outreach with say more in-depth webinars or Zoom meetings or that type of collaboration with some of these nonprofits. So we certainly try our best to use the tools afforded to us to get the information out to the community.
Thank you.
And Robert, can we consider what we used to use in the past, but still working at some extent? I don't know what are the guidelines, but with the Milpitas Post that is still being delivered to our homes, even though I know that is not local anymore. It's kind of more of a branch of the Mercury News but can we still consider in advance put in a flyer or something with the guy, if indeed we approve it, and if indeed we set a date and all that, can we include that hard copy version using the Milpitas Post?
Robert, do you want me to respond? Oops.
Sure. Thank you, Ashwini.
Yeah, I mean, we have been using Milpitas Post for certain stuff. So like community budget meetings that are going to be happening in March and April, we will be placing ads in the Milpitas Post. So we could look at that.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Ms. Kantak.
Sure, you're welcome.
Chair, I was just going to add that staff will be also promoting this through the city's newsletter that's called Milpitas Matters, and it's being published every 2 weeks by the city manager's office on the city website, and I believe it's pushed out to the community as well. So,
yes,
yeah.
It is, and we are encouraging people to actually sign up to get not only Milpitas Matters, but any other communication that the city puts out, like informational memos, etc.
Thank you. So at this point, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Robert, we need to look for a motion to provide our support to this activity as a potential second event, and then we can move forward to determine to maybe give the city the guidelines or for the city to decide the the timing, and we can recommend 1, 2, or maybe 3 at the most agencies to work together. Is that the kind of motion that you're looking forward, Robert?
A couple of points of clarity, Chair. So if the discussion warrants it, so there's no obligation for the CAC to create a motion. It's if the discussion, if it warrants a motion, then that would be great. And if possible, if we could, if you have multiple suggestions, we could engage with multiple nonprofits. We have the first event scheduled for May 5th. And I think that for Affordable Housing Building Safety Month, I think 2 to 3 events total would be appreciated, but certainly looking for direction. So I think if we're going to go with multiple events, if we could keep it to 2, I think that would be appropriately considered.
Okay, I need to hear from the rest of the commissioners.
And Chair, if I may just kind of add on a little bit to what Robert was saying, because staff has been hosting some of these workshops in months other than May. So yeah, if the direction, from the CAC is that, you are interested in seeing multiple events, just kind of try to, balance it between the workload in May versus other months. We can look into doing 2 or 3 events in May, as Robert said, and then the other nonprofits, we can partner with them and just do it in a different month, because we have done that in the past. So I just want to clarify that.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Any other comments from the commissioners? Okay. Do you see any hands up? I don't see any.
This time, Chair.
Okay, so I believe that having these events and trying to promote them are very important. I personally, I will leave to the city to the team to decide it, the amount, because we don't want to say a number that it's overloading the amazing work all of you are doing. So if you already have a couple scheduled for the month of May, we can leave the door open to see a potential calendar for the future for some other events. And to me, there are 2 elements, important elements on these. One is to hear from these nonprofit organizations what they are providing to our citizens. And we used to have it when we were doing CDBG, listening to them, but that was closed caption to a small number of participants. But if it's an event that is promoted and we have a calendar of 2 or 3 and it's well promoted, I know that online is the web and Facebook and all that is great, but we have, especially for the kind of clientele that we are looking here, the federal rental assistance, the low income seniors, etc. Sometimes the old way of doing things are more feasible for them to pay attention and to get engaged. And by that I'm saying, like using the Milpitas post as it was mentioned, to have it over there so people can refer to that. Do we need to, as you mentioned, we don't need to have a motion, but if you work on that, Robert, is that good enough from our end?
I believe the direction can be to just, give direction to staff to coordinate a second event for Community Engagement in Affordable Housing and Building Safety Month.
Okay. Do we need to put a motion, or that's enough just by recommending the city staff to look at that?
I think a motion would be best.
Okay. I can still make motions, correct? Even though I'm the chair, I can still make motions, correct? So
I don't see why not.
so my motion is to recommend the staff to look at, provide us with a guidelines, a calendar for a second event to promote the different activities that are for affordable housing and safety.
I second it. This is Vishal.
Thank you, Vishal. Commissioner Sridhar, let's vote now.
Yes.
Commissioner Batillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosario,
Yes.
Commissioner, sorry for, I could not see your last name, Song.
Yes.
My apologies if I mispronounce you. And then also vote yes. Do I missing anybody? Commissioner Van?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Motion approve it. So let's move to item number 10.
Chair. Chair.
Yes, Robert.
I just wanted to note that there is a hand raised. Commissioner Batillo has her hand raised.
Thank you. Commissioner Batillo?
Yes, I'd like to request a copy of the presentation. Basically, I wanted to confirm what my notes had been written. This community survey, Robert, is still on until such time because we haven't really compiled it. I noticed it was April. So the community can keep on doing the community survey.
Oh, okay, forgive me from the prior presentation. Yes, you will receive a copy of the presentations. We'll send both of these out, and the community survey is until March 21st.
Okay, yes, okay. Thank you.
Would this be sent out to all the commissioners?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Robert. I look forward to see something put together. It's really very important, especially under current circumstances, to promote and to explain to our residents all the different ways that they can receive assistance. So let's move to item number 10. Council Member Chua, City Liaison Reports.
Hello, hello, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. Welcome to Commissioner Song. This is your first meeting. I didn't expect you to be here. I thought you're going to be next month, but thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your service in advance. So it's 8:04, so I'm going to do it really fast. The Homeless Task Force has been formed, and they're going to have their first meeting next week, I think March 10th. A little bit about the cleanup of our city. I wanted to give the commissioners an overview on what it takes to clean up the city. The city, we have several agencies involved when we clean up, when we do a cleanup of the homeless camps. There we have, if you look at the 880, 680 bridge, and that's owned by Caltrans. So they're involved with that one. The railroad tracks, it's the Union Pacific area. If it's near the creek, that would be Water District. And then we have specific area for the city. And also there are lands that owned by Santa Clara County. So we're not responsible for cleaning them, but we coordinate with other agencies for the cleanup. So I just wanted you to know. Almost a year and a half ago, I took part in a tour of several homeless sites in San Jose. In order to clean up an area, you have to give, the police has to give notice about 72 hours before the cleanup. And then if social services come in and talk to the unhoused residents and they show them what the services that can be done for them, like medical and temporary housing and all that. That is done from the time the police notifies the unhoused residents to the day of the cleanup. At the day of the cleanup, the police are there and they post notice as well a few hours before the cleanup. They make sure that before the cleanup crew come, that no one is there. So, and the cleanup crew, they separate the trash from the personal properties. The trash goes into the dump and the personal properties go into a warehouse, which is stored like 90 days. And right now, currently, I think it's now being stored, it has to be stored for 120 days. So, and the police officers are there during the cleanup. So it's not, when you see a site and you say, oh, how come the city is not doing anything? It might not be our property. It might be a different agencies. So I just want to make that clear. Another thing is the city staff and the city management, they're busy with the budget for 21 and 22 because that's due around the June, July timeframe. So they're very busy with that. And I would like to show a video. And is Ashwini there? We have
Council member, I am here. I just have to make sure I'm able to.
Yes, I know. That's why I asked you because I know I might not be able to do it.
Actually, there is IT is on, and they're the ones I think controlling
Is
this.
Michael? Is Mike there?
Um,
We have a new pilot machine at Safeway. It's a way to recycle, and we're one of the pilot cities in Santa Clara County that is being used as a mule to test this machine. It's really neat because you just put in your CRV containers, whether it's glass, plastic, and it's right there. You don't have to go to a recycling center. You just have to go to Safeway. There are two applications. You have to load the Ollins application, and it's very simple. And I tested it. I spoke with the CEO. I met with the CEO, and I wanted him to put another machine in another area because this is Safeway. I wanted to have two in each side of the town, opposite side. So it's neat.
So,
does it work?
Councilmember Chua, I just wanted to see. So who is from IT supporting this? I can.
Councilmember Chua. Councilmember Chua, this is Mike. I have the video if you want me to go ahead and share.
Yes, please.
Great. Thank you,
I didn't know you were there, Mike. I didn't want to bother you.
Sorry.
So anyway, this is me putting the, there you go.
Like there's no volume for some.
It's all right. I didn't speak much.
Okay.
I just was using hand sign. There's the machine, and that's the QR code. You just use the QR code and then touch on to load the Allens app. That one. And there I have $55. And, I mean cents. Oh man, that's an expensive container. So anyway, on the first day, I was so excited because I wanted to test it, and I put, I don't know why I have it in my bag. I put an empty peanut butter. It's glass because I wasn't thinking, so I put it in there, and it took it, but we heard a big noise. And I thought, oh, gee, I broke the machine. So the next time I saw the CEO, I confessed my wrongdoing. I said, I'm sorry, I think I broke your machine. So he said, it's all right. The machine has an AI, artificial intelligence. It can detect if it's not a CRB is the container. So try it out, see what you think, and give them feedback. They would appreciate it. We're really I think we're the very first one that's really trying their machine.
Where is located? Where is
Safeway. At the entrance on the left side near the bathroom. So try it out and let me know your feedback so I can relate it to Allens. They would love to have your feedback. Thank you all. See you next month.
Bye.
Bye. Good night. Oh,
Thank you so much.
Motion to
Thank you.
adjourn.
Thank you, Council Member, for
Chair?
your report.
We
We
need-
still have one more item.
Oh, we do.
We have
Motion.
a report from the city staff.
Oh,
There is no city staff liaison report this evening.
Thank
we
you.
do
They were
need-
jumping ahead.
We do need the adjournment.
Okay, so we are now under item number 11, adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Oh, this one fast. I vote yes. Council Member Bichal.
I vote yes as well.
What council member?
Oh,
Commissioner.
Vice President.
Vice Chair.
Quam missing Council Member Van.
What?
What?
Commissioner.
Commissioner!
Excuse me. I'm out already.
Oscar.
Commissioner Van. Commissioner Van.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Commissioner Song.
Yes.
Do I missing somebody?
Commissioner Thelma. Yes.
Thelma.
Adjourn.
And Jose.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Thank you. I think I'm starving, and that's why I'm not thinking right now. Thank you.
Congratulations to Commissioner Van and Commissioner Gandhi.
I promote them.
Sure.
They were
Council
promoted.
member, eh? Okay. Good night.
Thank you
Everyone.
very much. Good night, and looking forward for our next meeting. That is really important. So please be sure that you attend. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye now.